Hey everyone, so we're going to go through Chainlink again today and take a look at a little price update to see where we're at, looking at the current market conditions and to mark out those key levels above us and below us to take note of. Chainlink is one of the few altcoins that I do hold, and I think that the future is pretty bright. The fundamentals are solid, and we've also got staking and a few other things coming out this year. So I definitely think it's a good one to hold for the long term. Now, we've talked about Chainlink and the seasonal effect of the first 6 months of the year on this channel before, and we do seem to have those major moves in Chainlink in the first 6 months of the calendar year, and that's when the major price appreciations have occurred, as you can see, where, last year we had a move of nearly 600% from bottom to top. Year before that, 1400%. Year before that, approximately the same, 1300%. And obviously we don't want to cherry pick our data, and in 2018, when nothing seemed to survive in the last proper bear market, was when we actually had a downturn of 87%. So if we do get some sort of big move to the upside, and it does seem to finish out or stall out at about August, July, sometime around that period, that might mark some sort of top for Chainlink. But it is possible that, due to the uncertainty on the market at the moment and the bearish sentiment, that maybe we do get some sort of downturn this year for Chainlink, quite possibly, because in that last time that we had a massive downturn, we moved down 87%. So far, we're down about 60. If we did replicate something similar to that year, that would put us at somewhere around that sort of $5 mark. As maybe some sort of ultimate low. I'm not saying that we get there. I'm just saying these are just some things that I want you to be aware of when keeping track of Chainlink. Now, marking out our key zones above us and below us, we are in the middle of two key areas. So we're pretty much in the middle of a range, in my opinion. And the levels above us of resistance that we want to look out for are about $20. So I bought in here at about the start of the year, and I was happy to buy in there because it was towards the bottom of a key support zone. We have lost that zone, and for me, any areas to add into value below that are going to be somewhere around the $8 mark. And if we do get some sort of ultimate low, I think an absolutely excellent buy, steal, capitulation move, if that occurs, is somewhere at around that $5 mark, where we've got these order blocks here, which I've spoken about before, that haven't been quite tested. So if we do break some kilos at some point in the future or later on this year, this would be an excellent buy. I don't see Chainlink going anywhere below this price action here, between $2 to $5. I think $5 for me would be a really worst case scenario for Chainlink, in my opinion. But yeah, this is where we're at the moment, and obviously above $20 we've also got another low volume block at about $34. So those are the key areas that we want to look out for. Now, we're currently range bound between that range of about $9 and $20, so bang in the middle at about 15. And when we lost the key weekly support at the exact place where we're at the moment, which was about $14, we're starting to move down to the next level. But currently we are retesting this area, so we want to see how this weekly candle closes, and if we can get a close back into that $16, $17 region, hang about there for a week, consolidate, okay, then I think that gives us the platform to challenge that $20 level. And obviously anything above that, I'd be looking at potentially 34, but obviously one step at a time. If we get rejected from this area over here at $15, which is the area that we've broken down from on that key weekly support back in January and February, then, and we take out this low at $11, I'm definitely expecting a move down to that $10, $8, $9 mark. But obviously it does depend on the market and where cryptos goes. I just want you to be aware of both the scenarios, both to the upside and to the downside for Chainlink. Now, we've got different indicators that we use for different altcoins, and moving averages can work good for some. I don't think it works very well for Chainlink. It doesn't give you any clear information. The only moving average that I think gives you some information as to what is going on is the weekly 21 EMA. And what we do know is that when we are above the weekly 21 EMA and all our weekly closes, as you can see, in our major run up to about $53 is that we were, you know, closing above it even if we punctured down below it, and then we basically started to get some oscillations at the 21 EMA, and now basically we're getting rejected at the 21 EMA weekly, and you know that weekly EMA is coming in at around $19-20. So if we do get a push up here for Link, just be aware that, you know, this is also going to be resistance for Link moving higher, but the bias definitely has to be to the downside, because we've basically been below the weekly 21. But even in systematic longer term downtrends, you do expect these key moving averages to get tested and bounce lower and create lower lows until proven otherwise. So that's what I'm looking out for on Chainlink. Now, if you want to see Chainlink go to $200 and beyond, and that's where you think it's going like I do, then the first thing you should do is like the video, because you know that helps me. It helps Chainlink pump up to higher prices in the coming years and months to come. So subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with these altcoin videos as I put them out weekly and daily. And without further ado, let's crack on. Now, Chainlink Bitcoin, we do speak about altcoin Bitcoin pairings having a little bit more consistency with horizontal and support resistance, and the ranges tend to be a little bit clearer in my opinion. So if you look at this area, for example, at about 4,000 sats, you can see that it's a clear area of support resistance, and we've currently broken below it, currently retesting. So, you know, if we do get a rejection here and we fold lower, look for that to be in confluence with the exact area that we broke down from on the weekly USD chart at $15. And, you know, we can possibly push lower to the next key support zone, which for me would be about 2,500 Satoshis. And anything below that, I think this would be a steal at about 1,600 sats should we move down to those lower ranges. But you know, we've also got this downtrend line on Chainlink, and if we do get a move to the upside, so this is the, you know, the case for moving to the upside. Obviously, I do use trend lines sometimes. I think that they are subjective, but the key trend lines where they are obvious, like this, and I have a certain rule of trend lines where if we get 4 touch points on a clear and defined trend line, for me, usually on the 4th time it was always break, and you typically get an impulsive move to the upside. So if we start to stair step our way back into this zone over here at about 4,000 sats, and we consolidate back above this key weekly support, okay, and we attack this trend line over here, then I wouldn't be surprised if we get a move to the upside, and maybe that can start a rally, possibly moving into April, May, where altcoins do pretty well, seasonally speaking, for Chainlink to maybe move higher, and maybe that does coincide with some sort of you know, rally into the summer, as we spoke about before. But those are the key ranges that I want you to look at, and obviously look for confluence with these key zones, as we've spoken about on other altcoins before, with the USD chart. So that's what we want to do. So we know that basically it's likely that if we do get a move down here, that maybe $9, $8, $10 coincides with the 2,500 sat level, and maybe like a $5 Chainlink potentially might coincide with like a 1,600 sat level. So when you get those things lining up on both charts, usually it's a good time to enter, okay? And obviously same thing for up here, you know, you're getting resistance at about 7,000 Satoshis, 7,000 sats. So if we break this trend line, that could be a big impulsive move to look out for, and that's the first level that I'd be looking at, either taking profits or for Link to stall out. Quick look at Link Ethereum. This is an interesting one because we spoke about getting a reaction here before we got this, so we actually managed to catch this pump over here on Link versus ETH, and we're currently retracing the big move that we had you know, back in January, that we topped out from, and we were expecting you know, 0.045 to be some sort of support for Chainlink to test this order block over here, which we got, which was pretty nice, and currently retracing here. And this is quite an interesting pattern as well, because obviously I speak about order blocks, and we have this daily order block over here, which we're currently testing. So if we manage to range bound and accumulate here, sideways, if not for another 1 or 2 or 3 weeks, maybe for you know, could be any moment here. If we basically hold this level and we push up higher, I would expect us to take out, you know, 10,000 or 0.01 ETH, okay? And if we do break these highs that we made back in January, I would be expecting us to challenge up to the next range, which is going to be somewhere in this cluster of price action, at somewhere at 0.016, 0.015 will be the next area to challenge, at which point you might want to think about rotating some of your Chainlink back into ETH should we get there. Just remember that moves in altcoins can happen pretty quickly, just like how we can get downturns of 40, 50, 60% on these major altcoins in, you know, a matter of 2 to 3 months. The opposite can also be true, and we can get big counter rallies even if we are in a longer term downtrend. So that's the way that I'd be looking at it. Obviously, if we lose this low over here at 0.045, then the next level to look at would be this zone over here at 0.027 ETH, should we get there, which is also in line with some key pivot points and breakout areas from the past. So that's how I'll be looking at Chainlink ETH, but let's see if we can accumulate here and possibly rally higher. As you know, the market is usually at the mercy somewhat of what Bitcoin does, and that typically tends to carry the market in, you know, whatever direction it's going to go in. But so long as Bitcoin remains bearish and uncertain and below key moving averages, it's typically not a very good time for, you know, altcoins to flourish and do their best. But if Bitcoin can get above 46k, I do think this is going to provide at least some relief and a better environment for some of these altcoins to, you know, perform pretty well, where it will be, you know, above some of its key moving averages, and you might see Bitcoin take the lead, you know, if it does manage to make that move, and then usually altcoins can catch up shortly after. So that's what I'd be looking at in terms of like market conditions as well on Chainlink. So if you found that video useful, please go ahead and give me a like down below, hit the bell icon, subscribe to the channel so that you can keep up to date with these time sensitive videos. All power to my Chainlink holders like myself out there, and I will catch you all in the next video.